Well, this is why, Joy, and I just wrote this in a column that was just published at the LA Times, that I think it's time that we reach the point where we stop treating Fox like a news outlet at all, because it's clearly not. They're making the conscious decision to commit journalistic malpractice by ignoring the biggest story right now, the biggest story perhaps in our entire country's history, actually, when you look at where this is all going. This is a major pivotal inflection point in the fight to salvage democracy, and they are choosing not to cover it. That's not the action of a responsible news outlet. That's not the action of a journalist. That's not the action of a reporter. That is the action of a propaganda vehicle for a political party that is determined to play a substantial role in undermining democracy as we know it. Why these people are allowed to have a White House press briefing access, why they're allowed to have a press credential to cover the U.S. Capitol, I have no idea, because I know this. If al-Qaeda created a media outlet, we wouldn't give them a hard pass to cover our government. Why in the world would we allow the people who are egging on, fomenting, and defending insurrectionists to have that type of access? They shouldn't.
And here's the thing. I mean, it's a metastasizing scandal, a metastasizing story, Paul. You now have evidence, new emails that show that a Trump election employee actually was telling Georgia Republicans to hide their efforts to put forth fake electors, to put up fake electors and essentially ensure the end result that they wanted, a win for Georgia for Trump. They said it'll be hampered unless we have complete secrecy. So you had a fake elector scheme in multiple states that they were attempting to literally substitute the votes of tens of millions of people for their own decision that Trump should win. Just as a legal matter, it's horrific. It's hard to ignore that as a journalistic matter as well.
Joy, the Trump campaign wanted to ignore the actual voters and install fake electors in 7 swing states who would vote for Trump even though he lost. And remember, in Georgia, Biden's win had already been certified and reconfirmed after a recount and after court cases. So secrecy, when this guy tells these fake electors, keep it on the down low, don't tell anybody. Secrecy prompts the question from prosecutors, what are you trying to hide? Who are you covering up for?
And to end here with you, Kurt, I mean, Republicans also benefit from being able to survive bad faith arguments. You know, MSNBC, CNN covered the Benghazi hearings because 5 people legitimately died, members of the diplomatic corps. It was, Hillary Clinton sat for 11 hours, took seriously hearings that Republicans called a pre-impeachment in case she ever became president. They literally said they're going to pre-impeach her. It was literally, Kevin McCarthy admitted it was purely political in order to stop her from being president. Yet they know that if they were to be in a position to have those gavels, the Democrats aren't going to just ignore the subpoenas and say, I'm going to invent some executive privilege and do the things that they do. And I'm wondering if they're overly benefiting from the kind of the bad faith that's allowed, including, I have to say it, even by the way they're covered in the media.
Well, this is the thing. And I remember back in the day when Steve Bannon would refer to this as the Achilles heel of the Democratic Party and really the Achilles heel of the media ecosystem, that the Republicans could manipulate the media because they know that by being bad faith actors, they'll ultimately be rewarded, that the media cannot help themselves but view this as a conflict between two sides of the same coin presented in equal weight with equal value, when you and I both know that's not the case at all. The extreme of the right and the progressive left are not two sides of the same coin. One is trying to destroy democracy. That's the end of the story and the end of the conversation. And Republicans continually get away with it because the media lets them.